This week I'm taking a second coloring page from my official collection and turning it into a fully rendered final piece. Why? Because I do what I want. Guess who forgot this week was a holiday week? Me. So Friday is a holiday, which is in 2 days. I'm filming on Wednesday. And so what I've decided to do for this video is there's gonna be a little bit of footage from last weekend, a little bit of footage from this week, a little bit of footage from the weekend coming up, and then a little bit of footage from the beginning of next week. I've got a lot going on outside of the art stuff, which is boring to film. So I wanna give myself time to kind of collect all the clips to put it together into a video. This is probably gonna end up being around the same length as the last 2 videos, which I think honestly is probably the prime length that I should be striving for these vlogs because they're like succinct. Anyway, hi, if you're new here, my name is Autumn. I am a 29-year-old digital artist, and this is my in-apartment studio, which is like half decorated. So whenever you see this, this is the half of my office that looks really nice. I'm just gonna jump right into it because I honestly, I don't really have a lot to talk about right now. What did we do this weekend? This weekend, we went to a jazz festival and then one of the America 250 activities, which was Sails on the Potomac in Alexandria. It was super cool. We saw a bunch of tall boats, the ones that are like old colonial with all the sails. It was great. We didn't get on them because all the time tickets had been reserved, and then the lines to just walk up and possibly be let on if there was space, those were full on out in the sun, and it was like 90 some degrees outside, so I was like, no. But we enjoyed some food. We walked around a lot. The old town in Alexandria is really, really cute. So we had a really good time just exploring. And then this week I've been working on, like I said, a second fully rendered coloring page design from my collection. I chose this one as the second design, and it's honestly causing me a little bit of grief here. I'm just gonna talk assuming that you don't know how to use Procreate. So if you do, or you use other drawing programs, just bear with me, okay? So in the drawing program that I use, which is Procreate on my iPad, when you set the size and the quality of the workspace that you're going to use to make a design, it basically tells you like, this is what your max amount of layers is going to be. And so the way I want you to picture layers, if you don't know what I'm talking about, is like, imagine a jar as like the finished piece. And in the jar are blank pieces of paper that you can lay on top of each other in order to create the whole picture, right? So let's say for this thing that I'm working on, right, I had like 60 some pieces of paper in the jar. What happened was, as I was separating different areas so that I could color them individually, I ran out of paper. Not to mention that the method of separating all of this out into separate layers was complicated on its own. But now I don't have layers, which means that what I need to do now is I need to find places where individual shapes are not overlapping and figure out how to kind of combine layers together so that I have room to make more layers so I can color on top. I've laid all the flat colors, but I can't do any rendering. They're gone. I don't have any more layers. That's my current problem, and I need to figure it out. I do technically have another option, which is to just render right on top of the flats. I don't really like to do that though, because I want to be able to kind of layer things on top of each other and make decisions as I go. So what I'll do is like, I'll layer one color, one texture on a layer, and then I'll put one color, one texture on the layer above so that I can decide how I like everything to look, and then flatten it down into one layer on top of the flats. Does that make sense? I'm just kind of stuck. I have to figure out how to do this, which is just, it's just taking so long, and it's so hard. It was already so arduous to like lay all the flats in the first place. My plan is to go through and start trying to solve that problem. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. You're just gonna have to watch the time-lapse footage coming up next and then let me know how it goes. But if what we're doing this week sounds interesting to you and you'd like to see more, make sure to subscribe and to turn on notifications so that you will know right away when I post a new vlog or a short. I'm doing shorts now too. They're doing pretty good. I'm like pretty proud of them. So the next part is going to be time-lapse footage. If you are sensitive to that, feel free to go to the timestamp that I'm gonna put on the screen probably somewhere over here, and that'll let you skip ahead to the next portion where I'm probably just talking. Alternatively, if you still want to listen, I'd recommend probably turning over your phone, turning the laptop around, or just kind of walking around and doing something else so that you don't see the TV screen that you're watching me on. Although if you are watching me on TV, you're making my face way too big, so don't watch me on TV. I don't know why, but the thought of my face being on people's TVs makes me like wildly uncomfortable. It's like literally just a bigger screen than a laptop, but maybe that's the problem. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna start working, so let's get to the time lapse. Okay guys, this one was a bit of a doozy, which was surprising because that was not how I pictured this going. Some of you may remember when I was drawing that apple card design, this one, if you have not seen it yet, and how much I was struggling on finishing that one, so much so that I actually just gave up. Well, this one was like that, but we made it to the finish line, thank goodness. I kept telling myself like, no, absolutely not. We're not giving up on a second project in 6 months. But this one, and I mean this in the nicest way because I did enjoy it, was a slog. I mean, pretty immediately I realized I was possibly going to run out of layers, which I did. Sometimes you can just tell looking at a design like, oh, we're about to have problems here. And that instinct was correct. So when I finished the flats, went to make a new layer and got the dreaded max layers notification, I wasn't surprised. But that doesn't mean I didn't also feel ready to bang my head against the wall. There were like big nose sigh levels of frustration when I saw that pop up. I honestly cannot explain how much time I spent just staring at this thing like, okay, what is the next step I can do from here that won't drive me absolutely up the wall? Okay, what about the step after that? And the step after that? And I just kept doing that until it started to get easier, which was about halfway through. What I ended up doing was picking the elements where I was fairly confident I could final render it in one go, stuff like eyes, little legs, and I'd finish those and then combine them down to give myself room to use the layers elsewhere. Then I'd work on shapes I needed to trial and error a bit more, the flowers, the butterfly wings, the bird, use those extra layers to figure it out, and then combine down again to get even more layers. The extra bonus for this was that I kept the crashing of my iPad down to a minimum. It was only really around when the flats were close to done that I was fighting lag and pretty regular crashes. I think in the last flat session, it crashed like 6 times in 2 hours. It was awful. I actually had to get up and walk away from my iPad because I was getting so upset. For context, I've had this iPad for a while. Like, I think I got this in 2019, so it's about 7 years old now, and it definitely is feeling like it's pretty outdated at this point. I'm hoping to get a new one, but I'm trying to pay off my student loans first. I'm almost there. I'm just hoping it'll stick around long enough that we can actually see the end of my loans, otherwise we're gonna have some problems. For this design, I decided to use a little more line than the last fully rendered coloring page, because especially towards the bottom of the page, it's a crowded design. I didn't have to edit nearly as many shapes as the last one, which was a huge plus. Instead, the challenge was more balancing colors. Because I knew I was going to use most of my full palette, I tried to keep blends extra simple, so more complementary colors and less intense blends. It's already a crowded design, so if the colors went crazy, it would have just looked like a really muddy mess. The bird is where I could get away with a bit more since it's by itself in that top left-hand corner, but I didn't take the same approach with the dog nose that's based on Junie because I didn't want it to be too distracting in that top right-hand corner. The dark nose with the light fur already has enough contrast to pull the eye a little, so I played it relatively safe there, and it really only threw in like maybe just a little bit of purple for some shadow, but I didn't take it very dark. I think my favorite details in this piece are the glow effects on the pollen, dandelions, and the bees. It's just a cute touch to give that fuzzy feeling. I did it on a whim because I like the idea of the bees being kind of fuzzy with pollen with a light yellow glow, and I think it works really well. So much so that I actually carried it through and added more pollen puffs throughout the piece than I originally intended. The background was a bit of a trick because my lightest blue just wasn't cutting it on top, so I actually had to put it on an overlay layer to really lighten it up. And then I realized the clouds were a little flat and distracting, so I have an underlayer on a motion and Gaussian blur. I've actually never had to say that word out loud. Gaussian? I feel like that's how you say it. It must be Gaussian. I can't imagine any other way to say it. And then the top layer is an overlay set down in opacity just a little bit. I think if I left the clouds the way that I had originally drawn them and shaded them, it would have just been too distracting compared to everything else in the picture. I didn't originally intend to use dark blue on the bottom of the background, but there was so much going on with all the grass, leaves, the stem shapes that it needed to be darkened a bit to stop it from being too distracting. I wanted the eye to be pulled more toward the middle of the page than all the way to the bottom. So it's enough that your eye sort of moves down from the bird through the bees and the flowers down to the bottom with the dandelions, but not so much that you're looking at the piece and then your eye just drops right down to the bottom of that page. Isn't it crazy how much the focal point of a piece can change just based on the color that you use? Yeah, wild. This one is just so cute. I love it. I was looking at the two final renders side by side, and I think they complement each other so well. Like, I did a good job of matching the color feeling of this piece and then the last one, which seems like it shouldn't be that hard because I used the same color palette for both, but it's really how you use those colors that creates that similar effect rather than just the colors that you're using. Anyway, let's go back to me and I'll talk a little bit more about it in the next clip. It's done. Look at this thing. I finished it finally. Oh my God. Do you know what day it is? It is Tuesday of posting week, and I finally finished this freaking thing. Oh my gosh. Hopefully I communicated in the voiceover of the time lapse for this how painful and difficult this was. It looks great, don't get me wrong, but like just it's been a little while since I've been so stuck trying to finish something. Oh my God. Okay. Also, listen, I want to do different things with my hair for these videos, but I can't right now. And do you know why? Because it's really hot. This time of the year on the East Coast really makes me miss LA because dry heat is easier to deal with sometimes. You don't sweat as much. And here on the East Coast, in the middle of the coast, you sweat so much. I'm sweating through like 2 or 3 outfits a day, showering twice a day. It's hot and it's wet and it makes my hair all frizzy. It's just, yeah, I need to sit down. I'm having a hard time. Let me just scooch in here. Hi. I'm like out of breath. Breathe, Autumn, breathe. So yes, today is Tuesday of posting week. I just finished the final render of a second coloring page for my first collection. If you're interested in picking up the collection or just looking at it and deciding if you want some of the pages, you can find the link to my Etsy shop below or on my channel page. They're like $2 a piece, and then the full collection is $9. So like relatively cheap, and they come with both the digital and the printable version along with coloring guides that I've made myself in case you need a little bit of help picking colors. They're great. I like them. So now that I've done the second full render, do I think I'm going to make more? I don't know if I'm going to make more final renders. Maybe, maybe not. I should probably get started on a summer collection of coloring pages if that's something I want to do for this year. The hard thing is that I've got a bit of travel stuff going on this summer, so we're going to see how long it actually takes me to finish the summer pages. I just like forgot that there were a lot of things that we wanted to do this summer conveniently. Yeah, I have confidence that I could get a second collection done, especially now that I've done the first one. I'm like, okay, I know everything that needs to happen. Anyway, what have I been up to? I have stuff to show you and I have stuff to talk about. So this past weekend, we actually went to Baltimore. So I'm gonna like put some stills and clips up while I'm talking about this. It was really fun. It actually was supposed to be our anniversary trip, but we got snowed out and everything got canceled. So we rebooked everything for June because we were like, okay, if we want to minimize the risk of getting any kind of weather event canceling our trip, when should we put it? And we were like, okay, we'll just put it right at the beginning of summer, which was great, but also it was really hot. Baltimore was beautiful. I've never been. My partner has been for like a very specific thing. We were in like the Harbor East, Little Italy area, and it was super pretty. I loved it so much. We took the train, which was great, and then we walked from the station all the way down to the harbor. It was so gorgeous. The architecture, I think we learned that 1/3 of the buildings in Baltimore are considered historic, so it's just beautiful facades everywhere. We went to the National Aquarium. I didn't film really anything because it was a holiday weekend since it was Juneteenth, so there were lots of kids, and it's just one of those things where one, I want to be present for our trip and I don't want to be filming the whole time, and two, I like really don't want to, if I can avoid it, film kids up close and get their faces on camera. That's just like a thing. That's just like a me thing. Yeah, so I did try to take a clip from like bottom to top of one of the areas of the aquarium because it's such an interesting layout for an aquarium. They do have dolphins, unfortunately, which we were really not happy about. We walked around a lot. We saw Little Italy, which was so pretty. There was a farmer's market happening in Fells Point the day we were leaving, so we went to go check that out. It's just so pretty. And I feel like the moniker Charm City for Baltimore, it is a very charming city. I feel like most of the time we were there, we kept saying things like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. This is so charming and cute. It was great. And it was just nice to get out and do something different than what we normally do on the weekends. Like every once in a while, you just need to find somewhere else to go and see something new. I honestly thought because the first final render that I made of a coloring page had more precise lines and letters and things that would be the most complicated, it was this one. I went for the pasta first just because it was the easiest one for me to do, and it fell in line a lot more with what I tend to draw in general anyway. This one actually wasn't that hard compared to this one, which is the one that I did for this video. It was just oh my god, it was crazy. Jeez. taking a month off from making coloring pages and just giving myself time to do like a couple of final renders and stuff, I feel like it gave me a lot of space to think about things like social media, short form. I was able to start playing with and kind of figure out what works for me. Just building up the energy again of like, okay, I can make more coloring pages now. I think sometime probably next month, I'll start working on the next set of coloring pages. I actually thought it'd be fun to do like an Earth Day design for the summer collection, but I realized I think Earth Day's in spring, isn't it? Isn't it like April? That's a bummer because I was gonna do like beachy planets and that's like a really fun idea. Maybe I'll just have to do it on my own as like its own piece. That could be interesting. I could get behind that. Do I think I could make a full piece along with making coloring pages? Maybe not. I don't know. Do I have anything to talk about that I'm looking forward to? I am really looking forward to the Steam summer sale. I love building a game library, and so every time Steam has a huge sale, I'm super excited. I get really into it. I even use like SteamDB to check if like prices are historical lows. I'm deep into it. Also, I just like a good sale. So anything else I'm looking forward to? There's a couple events coming up that I'm really excited about, and then we have a little more summer travel. Of course, I'm not gonna give you like super details. You're just gonna have to find out. Yeah, I guess that's gonna be all for me this week. If you like this video and you like to see more, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I post every 2 weeks on Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern. I hope you've all enjoyed the last couple of videos where I'm taking coloring pages to full render. I definitely enjoyed doing it, and I could see myself continuing to pull from coloring page collections and making more final renders for them because it just made my life so much easier to have the blueprint already ready, and then it's like just render. Especially for a complicated one like the one I did this week. If I didn't have the blueprint, I think I would have actually gone crazy. But it's been a nice break for me, and I feel like I'm getting raring to go to make more. I hope you're all staying cool and not sweating as much as I am. Oh my god. It's only been a couple of weeks of heat and I'm already so sick of sweating. Make it stop. I'm not even wearing eyeliner these days because I'm just gonna sweat it off. It's that bad. It's like you walk outside and then instantly sweat. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm done. I'm gonna go finish up the stuff. I actually haven't filmed the voiceover yet, so technically this part happened before the voiceover. Anyway, that's just how making videos works, okay? Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys!
Do you show everybody your bellies? You got your bellies from Mom? Oh, there's the bellies. You're so cute, Junie. Junie. She really likes a good, like, rub.